You know, Drea,
Yes, Sean.
there's something in my life that I have not been taking seriously that I need to fix. You know what that is?
There's only one. Skincare routine, cooking, sleeping, seeing a doctor, drinking enough water, using your self-employment status for taxation advantages, protecting your skin from the sun so you don't get skin cancer in like 10 years, 20 years, getting your car's oil changed.
Okay, fine, that's it. I wasn't
Learning
thinking,
drums.
no, I wasn't, let's stop. I wasn't thinking of any of these. I was thinking of actually making this room perfectly optimal for sound recording.
Oh, that's another one.
Allegedly, I've been doing all of this wrong. Thankfully, Sweetwater is here to help me. Them and Neumann have sponsored this video. I've got some new speakers here with room correction measuring technology that we're going to go over. These new Neumann KH speakers, they're amazing. But we have a good friend, our boy Brian Lee White,
Yes.
who is elitely good at audio engineering. He does all these video game composition soundtracks, Halo, Borderlands, Microsoft, all this amazing stuff. He's going to walk us through exactly how this room is kind of trash right now, and then I'm going to fix it. So be prepared to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And, just kind of make fun of me for taking some of these things not seriously. Really, all those things. It is kind of amazing how...
That's not even on the list. Keeping track of guitar picks.
I guess that's dumb. It is kind of funny how I can never find a guitar pick, even though there are thousands of them. It's not losing guitar picks, it's finding it. Yeah.
We're just losing them.
All right, hold on. Let's call Brian, and then I'm going to get to work. All right, my man, Brian Lee White, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Happy to be here.
You have some thoughts on my rooms? My room?
Yeah.
But-
I've had thoughts on your room for a while.
Yeah.
Would you care to share any of them? I mean, yeah, I'm sure you think that it's pretty well done, all things considered.
It could be better.
Please tell me how.
You could use the space a little bit better, both for sound as well as functionality, I think, for your videos and stuff, too.
Okay, all right.
Great point.
I hear you loud and clear. So what should I do? What am I looking at here?
So, I mean, sort of the biggest thing, like, from a sound perspective that you'd want to do first is reorient the desk and the throw of the speakers so that you're using the long throw of the room. Right now, what you've got is you're using the short throw of the room. So your speakers are pointing to the wall that's right behind your back right now. And so what happens is the way that the sound sort of develops, especially the low frequencies, those are longer waveforms. And so the closer that wall is to you as they hit it and come back on you, the more problems that's generally going to cause. So the easiest thing you can do in a room that is not a square box, which is the hardest thing to get away from, but you have a rectangle box, the easiest thing to do for any room with any setup, if possible, is to take and have the speakers throw in the long way. So that would mean taking your desk and putting it against that far window. So that way you have, when they fire back, they have enough room for those bass frequencies to develop and not sort of come back and recombine with each other to create a lot of sort of modal problems and peaks and valleys and uneven response.
Okay, perfect.
So that instantly would make things better without any additional treatment, anything like that. That would just instantly be a better setup. Also, I don't even think you're symmetrical in the room as it is now, which is also sort of, we're going to fix that too. So you're going to have your desk put symmetrically between the left and right walls with the speakers pointing back to the long throw of the room.
Now, I've got these amazing Neumann KH speakers that Sweetwater sent over. So I have two three-way speakers left and right and also a sub. So now you have your own listening monitoring system, but you kind of recommended these just because, essentially having like a four-way system is just better and you're just hearing things better?
Well, so you're definitely, I think with that size of room, now this wouldn't be for everybody's room, but you have a pretty big room. You have pretty good ceiling height and you have a pretty good depth of your room. Once you get the speakers sort of set up on the long throw, you have a nice size space. So In the case of having these bigger Neumanns with the sub, you're going to get a lot more lower extension than what you have now. So right now, I think with what you have, I think it's the Atoms. Those, they say they probably go down at the lowest bound to like maybe 45, 50, but like not really even that well down there. So you're more like getting 60s, 70s clean and it tails off pretty quick for the size of those speakers, which is fine for a small room because maybe you don't want to build up a lot of 20, 30 hertz in a tiny box of a room because that's just going to cause you problems. But when you have a bigger space, it is nice to be able to hear the lowest octave. And so this setup's going to give you access to that lowest octave. The subwoofer also is going to give you access to the tuning software, which will help sort of get that extra little bit of correction in the total curve.
All right, cool. And then you said the other thing that I should probably look into is getting bass traps.
Yeah, so the other thing I would do is I see you've got a lot of acoustic panels on the wall, and those are really good for high frequency absorption. So that's going to help with the flutter echoes, anything like that, sort of the clap, clap echo kind of sound. But those aren't going to do much for sort of absorbing any modal bass ringing or any sort of bass buildup in a room. So probably what you want to do is get some larger bass traps that sort of straddle the corners at a 90-degree angle. And you want to trap as many corners as you can. I see about 3 that you can trap. The other corner is just going to kind of go out down the hall and to the rest of your house. So that's probably fine. But you can trap 3 corners floor to ceiling with some decent bass traps. And decent bass traps are generally at least 4 inches thick. And then they're going to take advantage of the gap behind them as they straddle the wall. Definitely nothing like foam. Foam is great for high frequencies. It does absolutely nothing for the low frequencies.
You sound so smart right now.
I'm learning a lot about
amazing.
sound waves. I didn't think that you had to be wary of sound waves bouncing off of walls and then recombining and adjusting your sound to the point where you actually can't adequately mix.
And what you definitely don't want is you don't want to be sitting in a space where you're trying to make decisions about your music where there's a peak or a valley there, especially in the low frequencies, because that's where they build up the most. Because then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go, oh, I need to boost that frequency, or I need to cut that frequency, or oh, I'm gonna envelope my kick shorter because it's sounding too long. And then you get into another space and you're like, like nothing sounds like it right. Cars always kind of have a different way that the bass rings out in them. And so generally, like people that do music at home, they're either under or overestimating the sounds of their low frequency instruments in terms of how they sit in time. And that's why when you sort of leave the space, even if you have sort of a balanced mix, it might sound like, oh man, things just sound muddy now when I leave my space.
Well, all right, I'm going to move this to the center. Going to get these bass traps, and then then you're saying then I'll make good music.
Well, I think you'll be able to hear what you're making better. I don't know. I don't think it's going to, I think that
it's not going to be any better.
Well, I mean, I think it can help you. I mean, if you can work faster and make better decisions without second guessing yourself. I mean, again, all this stuff assumes you like have the taste for like what is enough or what is too much or what is, like if you're thinking about like how long do I want my kick drum or my bass note, like, I don't know, that's pretty subjective. But if you know what you're hearing is what you're hearing, then you're just one step closer to, to realizing that. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that most people don't do. I think it is think about their acoustic environment, whether that's like getting a pair of headphones that they know really well or working on their sort of speaker setup to maximize their space. A lot of people will go out and they'll like look at tutorials for like, oh, how do I compress? How do I EQ? How do I make my mix not suck? And if you can't even hear what you're doing, if literally you're sitting in your chair and the space is just completely lying to you, it doesn't matter how many, it's like having a guitar. Imagine you have a guitar and it's just not tuned, and you're watching Sean Daniel, and he's like, man, here's some really easy ways to riff over these changes, and you're just like, and you're like, why does this sound terrible? If I tuned my guitar and it's actually E to E and it's in tune and it's intonated, wow, now all these places where I put my fingers actually sound good and I can make better choices.
All right. Well,
What a great analogy.
well, thank you so much for the help, my guy.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll try to do you proud with this project.
Get those drapes. Talk to Drea about those drapes, because you need to get up that aesthetic ante too.
All right.
Yeah. Brian's all about the aesthetics.
He's my audio guy. He's my aesthetic girl.
I'm not the aesthetics girl. Brian's also the aesthetics.
Brian is also the aesthetics girl.
Yeah.
So we'll send you project development photos as it comes along. So after a lot of coffee and just staying up all night and moving absolutely everything around, here's what we got. I decided to move the drum kit right here, just because that's going to be the best spot for it, because I still need the cables to kind of reach around from the interface. So that's going there. Took Brian's advice, so here it is, more or less centered across the back wall now. So we have the speakers giving a long throw, okay? So this is the start of the story here, the Neumann KHs. Now, if you're setting up your own home studio, the trick of this is you want your ears to be like right in the midway point between these. So this is a 3-way speaker, full range speaker, which means you're getting your bass frequencies from here, your mid range from here, and your high frequencies from here. So I've never had a 3-way speaker before. I've always used 2-way. So I'm really excited to kind of be able to hear the mid range, because I am a master of the mid range after all. Now, I'm gonna do a separate video about the MA1 microphone right here, which this is how you actually calibrate and tune your room. That's gonna be a separate video coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. I have to do that with the subwoofer, which I just have in the bottom corner here. Right, so that's where all the DSP comes from, is that subwoofer. Now, if you get the regular 2-way Neumanns that come out, you can have the DSP without the sub and just do it with that. If you do get the KH310s, you have to get the subwoofer to use DSP to run the software. Does that make sense, Drea?
No.
Doesn't make any sense to you. Didn't make any sense to me until like 12 hours ago. But now I understand everything. So
You'll break it down for them, right?
I will break it down, right? So I can already tell just by listening to these are so much better than the speakers that I used to have, and I'm excited to actually mix stuff on there. So I thought while we had it up, why don't we use my Neumann mics that I have? I got the tube mic right here that sounds great with Drea singing through it, and then the stereo KM184s that are perfect for acoustic guitar, left and right. So we're just gonna try it and just do a quick mix. It'll be the first mix, Drea, on the new monitors. How excited are you for that?
I feel honored.
Let's get it. We're gonna do a song real quick, and we're doing another song over on our channel, so make sure to check that out and look it up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Every second counts. I don't wanna talk to you anymore. And all these little games, you can call me by the name I gave you yesterday. Every second counts. I don't wanna watch TV anymore. And can you figure me out? Just doing to waste more time on the couch. And can you see me? I'm waiting for the right time. I can't read you, but if you want the pleasure's all mine. Can you see me using everything to hold back? I guess this could be worse. Walking out the door with your bags. 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 to my head. I don't wanna be forward, I don't wanna cut corners. Savor this with everything I have inside of me. I'm not the type to run, I know we're having fun, but what's the rush? Can't see how my cheeks are so flushed. And tell you how I felt, sugar-coated melting in your mouth. Pardon my emotions, I should probably keep it all to myself. No, you make fun of me. No, you make fun of me. No, you make fun of me. And can you see me? I'm waiting for the right time. I can't read you, but if you want, the pleasure's all mine. Can you see me using everything to hold back? I guess this could be worse, walking out the door with your bags. Walking out the door with your bags. Walking out the door with your bags. Walking out the door with your bags.
Alright, so I think it sounds pretty amazing. I'm really stoked to be checking out these new monitors, new mics. Thank you to Sweetwater. Thank you to Neumann. All the affiliate links will be in the description below. Make sure to show Drea some love, and we'll talk to you next time.